الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today, inshallah, we are going to discuss the importance of this month of Muharram, and the events that took place in this month of Muharram. What makes this month so significant, and why is it important to the Muslims? Now, I will not go into all of the details because I want to make sure that the videos are no longer than 10 or 15 minutes, maybe even shorter, to make sure that you're able to get at least a glimpse, an idea of the significance of some of the points that we are talking about, inshallah. So, going to the topic itself, the topic of Muharram, the month of Muharram. One of the most important events that took place in the month of Muharram is Hijrah, the Hijrah of the Prophet ﷺ from Mecca to Medina, and the establishment of the first Islamic state, the establishment of the Khilafah al-Islamiyah, the establishment of the Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on earth, the establishment of the Muslim community as a whole. The establishment sometimes to kind of overlook some of them which are actually false. The Prophet ﷺ was not running away. The Prophet ﷺ was not worried about his life. If that was the case, the Prophet ﷺ would have ran away the first year or of the struggle, when the struggle starts, when the Sahaba are killed and torture starts. This could have happened a long time ago. But why now? The Prophet ﷺ was working 13 years of his life, of the da'wah in Mecca, was the struggle to establish a state, Islamic state. It was a struggle that you can see from day one that he was working in order to find a place, find a powerful tribe, a powerful state, someone that would give nusrah to the Prophet ﷺ, that would give nusrah to Islam, and that would say that we are willing to help you and support you, and in order that you may implement all of Islam completely, without any limitation, without any conditions, that you could do this but you cannot do that, you can do that but you cannot do this. So the whole 13 years he is looking of the implementation of the rules of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala completely, not a few things here, a few things there, not some rules, not what we like, and then what we dislike we leave. No, all of Islam was implemented, and that is the Medina. So Hijrah is such an important event that when the Sahaba decided to start even the new year of the Muslims, how should they start? What is the beginning of the year, end of the year, all of these things, they pointed to the Hijrah itself to be the beginning of the year, beginning of the new year for the Muslims. What's the significance here? Because many times, dear brothers and sisters, when the discussion of Hijrah takes place, unfortunately, we hear this also from sometimes from the ulama, from the shuyukh, in the khutub, where the discussion is only limited to some of the aspects of Hijrah, like what happened, with the pigeon, or with the egg, or with the nest, or when the Prophet ﷺ was hiding in the cave, with Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu an, and the role of Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu an, and then the story is over. Or we see some of the stories being of Hijrah given from some of the Western scholars. That is that the Prophet ﷺ was running away from Mecca, or he was thrown out of Mecca, and he's because of he ran because he was worried about his life. All of these type of things are mentioned. He's looking for someone. He's looking for tribes. This is something that we see where the Prophet ﷺ is. Some of the seerah where you see he met almost close to 27 or 30 tribes, even 37 tribes, some of them that mention, where the Prophet ﷺ was looking he was visiting tribes, he would take Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu with him, who was known as a person who knew the study of genealogy. He knew how, you know, the details of tribes and how powerful they were and who they belonged to and how, you know, what they're willing to do, what they're capable of doing. He knew the details. So he would take Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anh, and he would take Ali radiallahu anh with him. And whoever, once Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anh would go and discuss with a tribe, and then he knew that this is someone worth speaking to, talking to, he would go back to Rasulullah and say, we need to discuss with these people, we need to talk to these people. And you would see even in the questioning, and this happened throughout the years in Mecca, that even the questions that they are asking, you can see from the questions that he is looking for, you know, the Prophet ﷺ, Abu Bakr Siddiq, they are looking for a tribe that was capable of supporting Rasul ﷺ fully. They are, you know, meaning that they are powerful enough to fight Quraysh if they have to. They are powerful enough to defend Islam from all corners of Mecca, of Medina, of Arabia. And they're willing to do everything that is possible that the Quran, the Sunnah, Islam demands them in order to then, once the state established, to take Islam to the corners of the globe. And subhanallah, this is, you know, we see that the Ansar, the Muslims, or, you know, those who had accepted Islam in Medina, that they understood what it is that Islam demands from them, what it is that the Prophet ﷺ is looking for them. And even when the Prophet ﷺ sends, when the people of Medina, those who had accepted Islam, you know, asked for someone to be sent to teach them Islam, the Prophet ﷺ chose Musab ibn Umair, a very young Sahabi, but who knew what role he needs to play. He understood Islam very clearly, that what Islam is not just a spiritual religion. It has a political system, it has a social system, it has an economic system, it's a way of life, nizam al-haya. It completely gives you, in every aspect of your life, there is a hukum from Islam, how to do it, how to implement it, what is the do's and don'ts, all of it. And Musab ibn Umair, and you can see from the actions that he is taking himself in Medina, that he knows that there are certain people that he needs to get to. Of course, he's talking to everyone, but he knows the people like Mu'ad, Sa'ad bin Mu'ad, and others that need to be approached. They are the people that are the powerful people in Medina, Aus and Khazraj, the two tribes that he knows that they are the people that can give Nusra to the Prophet or to Islam. And once those tribes were ready, the work that Musab ibn Umar put together, he goes back and forth to the Prophet. He's talking to the Prophet. The Prophet tells him, go back, Ya Musab, you haven't done your work, meaning that it's not enough just that the people accept Islam only. No, they have to also accept the rulings of Islam. It's not enough to just say, okay, I'm Muslim, but I don't accept Sharia. It's not enough to say, I'm Muslim, but I don't accept the rulings of Islam. I don't like this, or I pick and choose. No. They have to say that now they are willing, they are ready to be governed by the Islamic law. And once Musab ibn Umair had reached this, when the communications between the Prophet ﷺ and Musab ibn Umair is happening, this is how we see when the bay'ah took place. The bay'ah, the first one, which was Aqaba, and the second Aqaba. The first one was called the bay'ah of the woman, because there was no the ruling of jihad. The jihad was not mentioned. The fighting was not mentioned. So it's called the bay'ah of woman, where the Prophet just took pledge of that they will obey Islam, they will not steal, they will not commit zina, they will not do, meaning the some of the rulings that were there. And the second bay'ah included jihad, included protection of the Prophet ﷺ, protecting the state, complete implementation, after which the hijrah took place. If you go into the details of hijrah, dear brothers and sisters, what you will find is the Prophet ﷺ, he understood, because you have to understand, when the Prophet ﷺ is coming to Medina, he is going to be now the ruler of Medina. But in Medina there was some other events taking place. because not everyone in Medina knew that there are people who are going to see and meet the Prophet ﷺ, and he is going to be coming very soon and is going to be ruling them as a ruler. So you had people like Abdullah ibn Ubay and others who's known as the Munafiq and the head of the Munafiqin. He was going to be crowned as a king, and he himself had no idea that now the Prophet ﷺ was going to come and he was going to take over his role as the head of the state of Medina. So you see certain things where the Prophet ﷺ says those who had forgotten to come to give bay'ah to the Prophet ﷺ, don't remind them. And the Sahaba who came to meet with him, they came in the darkness of night to come and speak with him. And even you see, even at the time that they are giving him bay'ah, Al-Abbas, who was the uncle of the Prophet ﷺ, he's telling them that, listen, we know how to protect the Prophet ﷺ. We have been protecting him. This bay'ah that you're giving him means that you have to protect him just the way you protect your women, your families, your children. And if you cannot do that, let him be with us. We can protect him. So they know that this is not a small deal. This means that the Prophet ﷺ has to be protected from all directions. And this is after which the bay'ah is given. The Prophet ﷺ is then ready to actually make a move from Mecca to Medina. One of the other things that I wanted to kind of emphasize was that it was very important that those who are the people of power, people of influence, people of strength, are there to give bay'ah to the Prophet ﷺ. The people who have the reins of power in that community had to be the ones that come and fully give their support to the Prophet ﷺ. Because without this, which we call bay'ah al-in'iqad, which is those who control the corners of that state, controls the reins of power of that state, control what takes place and what doesn't take place in that state, they were the ones that had to give bay'ah to the Prophet ﷺ. This is why we see in some of the books of Sirah where it's mentioned that when Al-Abbas got up and spoke and said that, look, we can protect him. If you don't think you can protect him, we know we have done it so far and we can do it. And so understand what it is that you're giving bay'ah for. Some of the ulama that said that in reality Al-Abbas was actually waiting to see if Abdullah ibn Ubay, who was missing in that time of bay'ah, maybe he would show up, to delay it for one day maybe, in order for this man to show up. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not want him in that bay'ah. But the point is that because he was also one of those people of power, so it was very important that those who are the elite of the society are in agreement and they give bay'ah to the Prophet ﷺ, which becomes now, which we call bay'ah al-in'iqad, the bay'ah for ruling, the bay'ah to completely give loyalty and authority to the Prophet ﷺ, and then the state is actually established. And after all of this is when the Prophet ﷺ decides that he is now completely satisfied, then he makes a move to make the hijrah from Mecca to Medina. So it did not happen in this way where he was hiding or he was running away from the oppression of the people of the heads of Mecca. He was scared of his life and all of these things. No. And even the story that we know, the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, of course, that when the Prophet ﷺ left in the middle of the night, and you know this ayah, وَجَعَلْنَا مِنْ بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ صَدًّا وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ صَدًّا فَأَغْشَيْنَاهُمْ فَهُمْ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ. And when the Prophet ﷺ was repeating this, and he took dust and dirt in his hand and he was throwing it, which blinded the people who had already planned to kill him, the Prophet ﷺ. The reason for that planning was there was some understanding between the people in Mecca that the Prophet ﷺ maybe have been given support from somewhere and he is going to go to join them. So they wanted to get rid of him before that kind of support comes to him. And he is now able to completely implement Islam and go after the enemies of Islam, or in and to now uh, expand the dominion of Islam. So this is why Hijrah uh, became a pivotal moment in the history of the Muslims, in the history of the Muslim Ummah, and it is, of course, commemorated every Muharram. So that's one event that is so important for the Muslims, and we also must remember, dear brothers, the work to bring back that state, the work to bring back that khilafah, the work to bring back that uh, the Islamic State is continues. It continues, and it will continue until the state is actually established. And these are events that we must look to and study from the seerah to see how the Prophet ﷺ worked in order to bring about the state. Without this study and only studying few technical things here and there, without going into the details of the seerah, we will be lost. And not only will be lost, we will not have a clear direction in order to gain guidance and have a clear direction in order to work in order to establish the Islamic State once again. Jazakumullahu khairan. And inshallah, we will continue on with three more significant events that happen in this month of Muharram, inshallah, in the coming videos. Jazakumullahu khairan wa barakallahu fikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.